Hello, my name is Andrea Capere, and you're watching Mission Nonprofit. Each month, we connect with local organizations and agencies that are making a positive impact in our communities. In 2019, we had many groups join us in the studio to tell us all about the great work that they are doing to make Thurston County a better place to work, live, and play. On this Best of 2019 episode, we're going to take a look at some of the clips from the many organizations that we featured last year. Support for Mission Nonprofit is provided by Thurston Talk. Early childhood education is important, and the high cost of preschool and daycare can rival what parents pay for college. The Child Care Action Council of Thurston County helps to increase access for early learning centers for children and their parents.
The parents, a lot of times, they don't have access to childcare because it's too expensive, basically. One of the statistics is that it's more expensive to put your child in, or to pay for childcare than it is to pay for college. And that when you have a new family just starting off in life, that's a huge expense to pay, and many can't do it.
Yeah.
So what they rely on are their parents or their friends or their neighbors. So we have many programs that also help support those, that group of people as well.
Today you saw blocks. So those blocks are a part of our Blockfest program, and that's early math. And they're learning STEM skills. They're learning so much about just developing those STEM skills. Then we also have our Raising a Reader program. So we pair a book with each volunteer activity that we're doing. And the kids learn about the activity we're doing through the Raising a Reader book that we share that day. And then we have the Kaleidoscope Play and Learn group. And that group, those program coordinators will give us activities for our volunteer project that day. And those activities are things that you can take home with you and do, and that all helps with the child development and getting them ready for school.
I'm the program coordinator for Raising a Reader. It's a book sharing and parent engagement program. We're in 3 counties, Thurston County, Mason County, and Lewis County, and we serve about 1,250 students and families this year. And what our program is all about is promoting early literacy and culture change within the home. So what we do is we educate teachers and parents on the importance of early literacy and how the simple act of reading with your children can really give them the skills they need for comprehension and vocabulary building before they head into kindergarten.
Going to the casino or playing the lottery can be fun, but when does gambling cross the line into being an addiction? The Evergreen Council on Problem Gambling helps with resources for people that are trying to end problem gambling.
Gambling used to control my mom's life. It started out small, with regular trips to the casino with friends. But after a while, her friends stopped going. She stayed. She told me that she just wanted to play her game and be left alone. Mom missed out on a lot while she was at the casino. She even missed celebrating the holidays with family. It wasn't until my daughter called her in tears, asking if she loved the casino more than her, that Mom realized it was time for a change. So she called the Evergreen Council on Problem Gambling's 24/7 helpline at 1-800-547-6133. They were able to help her find the resources she needed to begin her recovery journey, and were there when she just needed to talk to someone. So, if you or a loved one has a problem with gambling, there's help. Call or text the Evergreen Council on Problem Gambling's 24/7 helpline at 1-800-547-6133 or visit their website at evergreencpg.org. Remember, hope starts here.
So that was a really touching but hard subject to deal with?
Gambling addiction is a hard subject, and it's particularly hard if you're in the throes of it, because as Tana mentioned, the amount of stigma and shame that comes with this particular addiction, many people don't see it as a health issue, they see it as a moral issue. And we often hear the question, why don't they just get up and walk away? And that's not possible. For some,
Beyond those tangible things of, I've missed another mortgage payment, or my relationships are suffering, what is going on that makes it this health?
Well, one thing that is unique about it is the suicide rates are astronomical. We do consider this to be a disease that, if it progresses, can be fatal because they die at their own hand. It can get, I mean, if I drink, someone else doesn't get drunk, but I can gamble my spouse's property, our mortgage, my children's college fund. I can really wreak a lot of havoc in other people's lives as well as my own.
A cancer diagnosis is hard enough, and each day, patients are forced to make tough choices. Imagine making the decision to forego a utility bill or even your medical costs. That's where the Mayday Foundation comes in, providing financial assistance to those faced with cancer in meeting those needs.
Yeah, so I am actually a breast cancer survivor. I am just about close to my 2-year anniversary, which is exciting. And as I was going through my cancer treatments, it was a real struggle. But my husband and I had flexible employment, and we had ample funds saved up, and we also had grandparents in the community that could help us with the kids. And it was still really challenging. So just through my cancer treatments, I had the chance to talk to a lot of healthcare workers, and just to find out, like, what would families be doing that maybe didn't have the same resources that we fortunately had. And there just weren't a lot of options out there. So with my business background, I knew that I could make a difference in this community by starting a nonprofit that could support families like ours that are in a situation where a parent has cancer and they're really just struggling to pay their household expenses as well as their medical bills. The Mayday Foundation supports families with real practical and immediate financial help. We're paying rent, utilities, gas, groceries, kind of everything that the family needs in order to keep afloat. And we believe that no family should be thrown into bankruptcy or forced into homelessness as a result of a parent's cancer diagnosis. So we're filling that short-term need until a parent can get back to work.
So how can people give to you?
Yeah.
Well, we have a website. You can visit us online, social media channels, and so spreading the word is a great way to actually encourage more people to give. So going out and finding us online and liking our page, and in our website, you can directly give straight through the website. And at any level that feels comfortable, every dollar makes an impact for a family, from buying a winter coat for a child to paying a mortgage. So we just encourage people, if they want to help, any level really does impact our local families.
Families deal with plenty of expenses. Between transportation costs, utilities, rent or mortgage, it can be challenging for low and middle income families to make ends meet. The Thurston County Food Bank helps tens of thousands of people with groceries and basic needs.
So that really has us open Monday, Wednesday, Friday downtown, Tuesday, Thursday in Lacey for pantry food, and Saturday for the farm stand. When you add in all of our other satellite food banks, we're open almost every day of the month for service. So that's part of how we're expanding our reach and our services to meet the need. I think another piece is something that Heather could probably talk about. It's our warehouse, which has really changed the way we do business.
So our Tumwater Warehouse and Distribution Center is on Montman Road, right by South Puget Sound Community College. And we split the organization off into that facility about 4 years ago now. And about 4 years ago, we were really at and above capacity in our downtown client services center. So Robert and our board had begun planning a capital campaign to look for a new warehouse several years in advance of that. And we had the good fortune to find something that was a great fit right there in Tumwater.
And we are a volunteer-run organization. which means we empower volunteers who outnumber us hundreds to one to walk beside us and do the work with us. We really are going to try to tap into whatever skills you bring to the organization in whatever way you want to use them.
And of course, you're accepting donations, I'm guessing. So what's that website?
It's the thurstoncountyfoodbank.org.
Okay. Each year, Capital City Pride organizes the annual Pride Parade and Festival in downtown Olympia. Celebrating our vibrant LGBTQ community is crucial, but so is learning about continuing challenges to this portion of our community.
So every year we put on a celebration, a parade and a festival in celebration of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, etc. community here in Olympia. We're one of many, many Pride celebrations that happen all over the country and all over the world. We have kind of a reputation for being one of the biggest and best small town prides. We don't compare to prides in cities like San Francisco or New York, but for a city of our size, we put on a pretty good show, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like everyone is welcome there, provided that they are allies and that they are, there to support
provided they come
equality.
with an attitude of respect.
And more diversity is better.
Yes.
We still don't know. I'm sure the alphabet soup of GLBTQIAA+ will continue to change, and we need to hear from those people that are just coming out to see, how their identities can add to our community.
Although there have been many advancements in the treatment and prevention of HIV and AIDS, it's still important to be tested if you're sexually active. PCAF provides free testing and connection to resources for people of Pierce and Thurston counties.
So I'm Eric Seelbeck. I'm the executive director of PCAF. The name used to be longer, Pierce County AIDS Foundation, but we started in Pierce County in Tacoma 32 years ago, we have expanded our coverage area. So we serve Pierce, Thurston, Lewis, and Mason counties now. So we go by PCAF as a shorter name to sort of talk about why we are not just in Pierce County.
I think that fear and stigma definitely play a huge role in prevention because they definitely play a huge role in testing. So whether it be fear of actually going in and getting tested or the stigma that they think that I don't need to get tested for HIV because this doesn't affect me. As far as education goes, anytime that someone walks in the door, anytime that someone is there for testing services or any type of prevention services, there's going to be an education piece. There's oftentimes a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of, if there's not questions, there's a lot of things that come up that you can tell that they're not 100% sure. And so there is that educational piece, whether it be during testing or during like navigation services for PrEP that we were talking about earlier. There's always going to be some type of education about transmission, about stigma, and about different pieces of misinformation that they might have been fed before.
In Thurston County, we benefit from co-ops, whether that's through access to fresh local produce or shared housing that empowers tenants. The Northwest Cooperative Development Center focuses on developing and supporting cooperatives in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho.
Cooperatives are organizations that usually have an economic purpose, they generally do, and they operate on the basis of one member, one vote. So they're pretty much any type of business you might normally see, except the purpose is to meet the needs of the members. So food co-ops are pretty common that most people know. That's for helping the members there get the access to the foods that they want. Housing co-ops help people get housing that they need. Worker co-ops are about employee-owned businesses that operate, again, not so much on a profit model, but on a meeting the member needs model. So a worker co-op might be more focused on decent wages, benefits, and safe working conditions, for instance.
So how many communities do you have in your service area?
Here in Washington, we have 14.
Wow.
Yep. So over the past 11 years, we've helped to convert 14 mobile home parks into resident-owned, and we also carry forward typically about 10 years of technical assistance. So again, similar to the work that John does in the broader co-op world, offering training, advice, coaching, and so on to do our best to make sure that these communities are successful in carrying forward the business of providing affordable housing.
Live theater is a wonderful art form, and we have our own live theater company right here in Thurston County, putting on performances every month. Harlequin Productions is a nonprofit that puts on professional theater performances at the State Theater downtown. So tell us a little bit about Harlequin. What's the mission? What do you do?
Sure. We're a nonprofit professional regional theater here in Olympia. We're the only professional theater between Seattle and Portland. We've been in operation since 1991, I think. Our mission is to invigorate, educate, and empower our community to think more, to feel more, to play more, and to judge less. And we do that through the mirror, what we call the mirror of real life theater. So we were started back in 1991. Scott and Linda Whitney founded the company. They started sort of a scrappy young theater company out of the Washington Center Black Box. They did 3 offerings that first year, 91 to 92, that were each of the offerings they did that year were 2 one-act plays, so an evening of 2 one-act plays. And it was very super successful. They went back a second year. They did 4 plays that year, 4 full-length plays that year. And they went back a third year, and they went back a fourth year. And as they grew bigger and bigger, it became obvious that they were outgrowing their space there at the Washington Center. And so they raised, I believe, $1.3 million in about 17 months to purchase the State Theater downtown and renovate it, poured all the concrete in there. And
so how do you engage the community?
Well, first we produce theater. And we engage the community on both sides of that. The play we have running right now, we have 12 actors in the ensemble, which is sort of big in some ways, sort of small in other ways. But that's the acting ensemble with the directing team, the design team, the running crew, the stage management team, the electricians, the carpenters, the painters, everybody involved on the production side. That's about 40 to 45 people for this production. And then, of course, we have all of our front of house that sell the tickets, that market the show, promote the show, make sure that people know about it so they can come see it. I mean, that's a whole cadre of people as well. And then we have a volunteer base. And for this particular show, we have about 220 volunteer spaces for that show. So it takes a village, for sure. And that is, at the heart of what we do. Theater in itself it's a community engagement exercise.
Just like TC Media offers classes for media production, there's a group here in Thurston County offering training and networking opportunities to filmmakers. The Olympia Film Collective is a nonprofit you can connect with and meet other filmmakers.
When I first moved to Olympia, I was into filmmaking, and I looked around in the area and I couldn't find any sort of organization or a group that actually met. I tried the different various meetups and those type of things, and then I had to resort to Craigslist actually to find people who were interested in filmmaking. So, searching Craigslist is not the greatest thing in the world, and especially the types of people that come out of Craigslist. Not to poo-poo Craigslist at all, but I'm just saying that you got to be careful. And so I wanted to, from that get-go, when it was difficult to find people, I wanted to create that safe space. I wanted to create that organization that would become the Olympia Film Collective. And so the story, actually, the story that started this all was that I moved here, and at the same time, Riley Gibson, who is actually my business partner at Skybear Media today, we met each other through that Craigslist ad. He posted something and I responded to it. And then I had this short film that I wanted to make. And so that's how we found each other. And he came on board at the same time. Russell Brooks moved to Olympia, and he was my friend and was interested in filmmaking and wanted to get on this whole thing. And he's the one that actually unearthed this short film script that I wrote as an exercise in writing. And it was only 2 people, 3 locations, so it's really easy to film. So we thought we could just knock this out in a weekend. So we had Russell, we had Riley, we had myself, and then we found this cinematographer also named Dylan Glockler, who was out of Montesano. And so we actually met out in Montesano for that first meeting in the library in Montesano, and we talked about filmmaking, and we talked about the script, it was called The Sweet Sorrow at the time. And we planned together to make this short film. We shot it. We shot it locally. We shot it here in Olympia. We shot it at the Broho, the bar in what used to be the Volcano Vapor Cafe across the way. It's not there anymore. And in the alley next to Broho. So it was just 3 locations and really quick. We shot it on a Friday, I think Saturday night, and that was it. And we had such a good time making it that we realized, we need to make another one.
At TC Media, we have been honored to partner with the League of Women Voters of Thurston County to help support civic engagement in our community through coverage of primary and general candidate forums. We had an opportunity to catch up and learn about their work as a nonpartisan member organization dedicated to informing our community on candidates and policy.
100 years ago, it's probably hard for some of us to imagine that 100 years ago, women could not vote. Not to mention a lot of other things that women couldn't do, and not just white women, but women of color and including other racial groups. So 100 years ago, there was a big effort for women's suffrage, meaning the right to vote, and the League started at that time with a push to get women's right to vote. And so as a result, you'll see how that carries forward into our work today. Subsequently, the League came to include men and younger people, and Carol will talk about that as we go along as well. The League is a 3-tiered organization. We are a national organization, states have an organization, and local leagues. We're a local league in Thurston County. That sounds like it's a super national organization, but no, it's a bottom-up organization.
Junk, junk, junk. Ooh, Philly cheesesteak. Junk, junk, junk.
Whoa, Juan Carlos. This ain't junk, bro.
What? I never opened those. Who cares? Is this your water?
Yeah, that's my water, and this is your ballot. It's super easy to vote.
Well, it's just, life is busy, and I don't really think one vote will make a difference, so...
Okay, Mr. Busy. We got a lot of stuff going on right now at the state, local, and even national level. Every vote counts. Come on, I'll walk you through it. We're pretty lucky we live in Washington State. You don't even have to leave your house to vote. Get your voter's envelope, take out your ballot, open it up, of course, fill it out next to the candidate or initiative of your choice. And even if you don't agree with any of the candidates, you can write your own. I voted for Sasquatch one year. Thought they'd make a better representative. After that, just close it up, put it into the security envelope, back into the regular envelope, and bam.
I guess that is pretty quick and easy, but I still don't know who these people are, and voting for Sasquatch is not going to cut it for me.
I understand. That's why they give you a voter's pamphlet.
That's all we have for you. Thanks for watching this Best of 2019 episode, and thanks to ThurstonTalk.com for their continued support. You can see Mission Nonprofit on Channel 77 on Sundays at 4:30 p.m., Tuesdays at 6 p.m., Thursdays at 7:30 p.m., Fridays at noon, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. You can also catch us online at tcmedia.org. See you next time. Support for Mission Nonprofit is provided by Thurston Talk.